Welcome to the Kanavos Show, everyone. Thanks for being here tonight. Dreams and healing. We have searched for the answers to life in our dreams back to ancient Egypt 4,000 years ago with Imhotep, the mummy. Remember him? High priest to the sun god Ra, and ancient Greece's Asclepian dreaming temples. So why we dream is still one of the behavioral science's greatest unanswered questions. And are our dreams just random images fired from an unconscious brain during sleep? Or is it something much, much more important, like maybe life-saving messages from another realm, perhaps even heaven? I'm your host, Kathleen O'Keefe Kanavos, and our guest tonight is Ilona, Leona, I knew I was going to do this after we went over for 5 minutes. Ilona Selke, did I do that right? And tell us the story again about your name.
Ilona Selke. Well, Selke stands for and comes from an Irish myth, the Selkies, that had the telepathic ability to communicate with humans. They were sea-dwelling mammals. And when I was just about to publish my first book, Wisdom of the Dolphins, after having had thousands of hours underwater telepathic experiences with dolphins, I wanted to change my name to my husband's name. And a psychologist friend of ours said, "Don't change your name. Do you know the meaning of your name?" It's the Selkies. They have the telepathic ability to connect with humans and bring forth their wisdom. And that's what I feel dolphins have done with us. And therefore, I kept my name, Ilona Selke.
Beautiful, beautiful name. So, Ilona, your book is called Dream Big. So, how are
the universe is listening?
Oh, that's the whole title. Dream Big, the universe is listening. I love that because you know it is. It never sleeps. The universe never, ever sleeps, even though we do and connect with it in our dreams. So tell us, why is dreaming big so important?
Well, what we tend to do as humans is follow others and fall into ruts of how we survive. But surviving is really not all that we are about. And when we take time to step back, to observe our life, whether that's at night or consciously in contemplation, in meditation, or even when we just take time out to think about where we are, where we want to go, we do something that no other species that we know of on this planet does as intensely. We take a step out of this dimension into another form of ourself, into the core essence, and look at what is happening, and then we make a choice. And we create a matrix in our consciousness as to where we want to go. Now, we have other dimensions talking to us, just like you said, through dreams, through our intuition. And it is important, I think, to live a really, truly evolved human life, to listen to higher input. Now, the input we get is as pure as we are. Now, there are people who've listened to the wrong voices, so we do all need to learn to distinguish between the voices. Mm-hmm. And, I've had dreams that came true. One of them was I was walking on a beach when my husband wasn't married to me yet. I was still married with another man, and he and his wife and I were now switched, and this man was now my husband. We were walking on a beach, and I pointed up and said, "That's our house." And I wrote the dream down, and I thought, wishful thinking, whatever. 6 years later, we walk on that very beach, point up, and I see our house, and it's like we had just built it, a geodesic dome house, where I'm in right now, on a north island in the northwest of Seattle, north of the West Pacific, north of Seattle. And I said, "That's our house." How is it possible that I dreamt that ahead?
Yes.
And so we do need to learn to connect with higher dimensions, with our own intuition, and sharpen the tool, which, all of us are endowed with in some way or another. We have hunches, all of us do. Just some of us have trained a little bit longer. And that's what I invite people to do, is dream big, because you want to evolve to your next level, but the universe is listening. It's another force that gives us the boost and listens and helps us become the person of our dreams.
Absolutely right. And so in the book that Dr. Larry Burke and I just wrote and was just published by Inner Tradition Simon & Schuster, the whole book is based on dreams that saved people's lives and then came true and were validated by pathology reports. So your dream that you had with your husband was a dream that was validated by real life.
Yes. And another one about saving lives. I had a dream in 91, 92. I dreamt, we had just been in Hawaii, came home, and we got bumped from a flight voluntarily, so we got free flights to go back to Hawaii. So we said, let's fly back to Hawaii. 1 week later, we'd been swimming, looking, and, wanting to look for dolphins, came back, and we said, let's go again. Ready to buy our tickets. That night I have a dream. The woman comes, puts her head on my forehead, says, don't go. She shows me this black circle on a map, like a bird's eye view of Kauai, where I wanted to go, and a black circle. And I thought, is there an underwater volcano? And so we then decided not to go. That week, Iniki hit and flattened Point Pu, where we had been, where we would have gone back to the people we'd stayed. And a lot of people were out of homes, shelter, and food. So that dream really literally saved us. And I had a habit, and I've not pursued it, but I did for a long, long time, wrote down my dreams, where I was able to then connect the dots and say, this is what I dreamt, this is what happened, including a dream of extraterrestrials coming to this planet. Yes.
Tell us that one really quick. We have plenty of time.
We do?
Okay. Yeah. It's amazing how long it is, even though we think it's short.
I know. Okay, so for stories like this, it's outrageous. I was in my mom's kitchen when I was a child looking out north, out of the window, and we had a lunar eclipse. So the moon was covered, or the sun was covered by the moon, solar eclipse. So it was shadowed over. Now, I look. Then a voice says, look again. Be paying really good attention. It did it 3 times. And then I saw, out of the solar eclipse, a fleet of UFOs coming. And I thought, fleet of UFOs coming. I wrote that dream down. Within a month or two, I found a flyer that said, the solar eclipse coming, visible from Mexico, America, and Hawaii. Well, Mexico had really good weather. People were filming it with a webcam. So I thought, well, at least I got the solar eclipse part right, in ahead of time. And apparently it's really important. I did tell the dream. One of the scientists that was working with the government in the United States in low frequency research. Anyhow, he has since died. I told him this dream because he was into the kind of paranormal. And I told him the dream. 2 years later, he says, Ilona, you wouldn't believe it. The day that you said there would be a solar eclipse, not the day, but the time when you told me it would be, there was one, and this is what people filmed. So he sent me a film. And in it, in Mexico, only there, it was aired on national TV and all radio stations, TV stations. People saw flying saucers. Now, it was a flying saucer coming because the solar eclipse was covered, and then there was the flying light coming in, and it was visible just like in my dream. So I believe we were told in advance there are civilizations that are flying, they communicate with us, but I only got that confirmation, the videos in Mexico. In America, however, they silenced the whole thing. Mm-hmm. It was not to be mentioned here. Mm-hmm. But in Mexico, they don't have that same issue, and so they aired it, and I got the copy.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. So tell us, you have written 4 other books, and let's see, you wrote one with Brian Tracy of Hay House, is that correct? And one with Jack Cranfield, who is, Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Yep, that's the Big Secret book, co-authored with him, and then my own books are Wisdom of the Dolphins, Love, and Destiny, and the newest book, Dream Big, The Universe is Listening. All of them, that's like Brian Tracy's teaches, Jack Canfield teaches, we all teach this new and old wisdom everybody already knew, but nobody's teaching in universities, is that we co-create reality with our consciousness. And we are understanding, quantum physics is understanding that our consciousness co-interacts, creates gravitational fields. You know, I was on stage with the Apollo 14 astronaut Edgar Mitchell, and I had made the same postulation, and I'm just going to make him say it now. He said they were in a think tank 30 years ago, and what they discovered, they said, consciousness is gravity. Consciousness creates gravitational fields. And when science now, they're grappling with that. What is gravity? They don't know. Gravity is created by consciousness, which creates I might imagine it as a spin factor or like an attractive factor, but imagine like whatever blueprint you hold in your mind when you want healing, you hold a feeling and blueprint of a future that may not be there yet. You just hold that in your mind, in your body now. You pre-project yourself into the future, into the now. You hold on to that for just 5 minutes a day. Whether it's your soulmate, the money you want to make, the audiences you want to reach, the world you want to change, the self you want to become, you occupy your higher self, your abilities, whatever, for 5 minutes a day. And then you step into it, hold it, be it, and then let go. Let God do the work.
Just go on with God. I love that. Yes, yes. So tell me, do you have your book with you by any chance? Can you hold it up?
Oh, man, yeah, I have. You know what? I have so many books here. I'm working right now on our Living from Vision course book. I'm doing the online version of it. It's finished, actually just got done last week. Ilona Selke.online. You know, I have it in the other room. I was reading in it. I left it on my couch.
That's always the way it happens. That's fine.
Yeah.
Big, tell our audience how they can find your book and
just
how they can find you.
Okay, mine is easy, Ilona Selke. You see it maybe here on the little Zoom video, Ilona, Ilona, S like in star, ELKE.com, or ilonaselke.online for all the online courses. And of course in Amazon, you type in my name and you find all the books, including the children's book. I have an app for children with guided meditations to guide children out of negative emotions into positive, empowered states as well.
Oh, that's great. Ilona, we have a few minutes left, and I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about out-of-body sex.
It is one of my chapters, right?
Yeah.
Well, it takes a little training, but when we all have the ability, we all feel energy. And women particularly are more keen to feeling it. So if you train your sensitivity to perceive, just maybe even with brushing by or feeling the thoughts or feeling like when you touch, are you really touching? You soon develop a sense where you feel the presence of another person come in. And I, in that story, describe how I was 19 traveling with a 36-year-old man who was a genius classical musician. And so we were sleeping head to head and not really doing anything, but playing with our hands. And we crescendoed in our perception of energy that he had developed because of his musical background, mine because of meditation background, and intertwined. And I've practiced since then with many people, not necessarily practicing sex, but then you can take it through all of your energy chakras into your soul. And in your soul, I just did a podcast yesterday with Amaria, into the soul of union, what we all yearn to experience. And it is a crescendo of opening the doors to the divine, to God. When two become one, we defy the gravitational field, and another explosion and opening to the divine happens. But it takes training. And so we can all partake in it, especially when we get older and maybe body parts don't function as well. It's really good to have this one under our belt.
I agree. So once more, tell us how our audience can get in touch with you. Do you have any Facebook pages? Do you have websites? And how they can get your book?
Okay, so my Facebook fan page is Ilona Selke, and there you can watch trailers, go to online courses. If you go to my homepage, you can get a free app. It helps you to meditate and pre-envision your day so you start to dream bigger and greater and start talking to the universe. It's called ilonaselke.com. And you get the free app when you sign up. There's a little video. It's below that. You'll get to listen to the video. And sign up. Get the free app. It's 8 minutes of guidance every morning and every evening. I think that would be the way I would go if I want to make a change in my life. Start working from the inside out.
Well, Ilona Selke, thank you so much for being on the show with us tonight. And thank you to our audience for joining us on the Cat Kanavos Show, which is archived on the Cat Kanavos Show Facebook page. I will be turning this show into an article for Biz Catalyst 360. So you can go to my website, KathleenO'KeefeCanavos.com or Queen of Dreams. Just put that up in the search bar. And you can listen to this show and watch the show again while you are reading the article. So thank you again for being with us. And remember, everybody dreams, but some dreams save